Hey everybody, welcome back to Flames Unfiltered. We are your hosts, Cgy Ana and Burud, as always. Kind of a lengthy hiatus for us, Brad?
1 week? We missed a week, man. We had plans. Believe me, Flames fans, we had the best intentions of throwing out a special episode last Monday and then throwing one out again tomorrow, as in this Monday. Last Monday, life happened, man. Kyle and I both, which it's crazy because I wouldn't know how many miles apart are we, or kilometers apart are we? A lot. And we both ended up with kind of the same sickness, and it put us both down. And then some other family issues and stuff came into the picture. And hey, we had no show for you last week, which is upsetting as can be, because I look forward to this every single week. It's kind of my outlet. It's kind of my escape from reality during the week, and we didn't have it. And then this week we're going to come out with a special episode, and we thought, you know what, with the Olympics happening, trade freeze being released today, everything else happening on a busy hockey Sunday, let's just kind of fly from the hip today and talk a little bit of Flames, Olympics, the world of hockey, whatever it comes to, right, Kyle?
Yeah, gonna be a bit of a reset. And just for those of you who are wondering, we are 3,399 kilometers apart, which is a 35-hour drive, a 3-day train ride, or a 31-day walk. It's a full month walk, straight, no sleep.
Oh, and we both ended up with the exact same sickness.
That was brutal. Everybody around me was sick, and I kept avoiding it. And I think I got cocky. I think that's what happened.
You know what? Me too. Everybody at my workplace it kind of rolled through everybody, and I was kind of spouting off a little bit. Same thing, and I got hit with it hard. I was down last Sunday, a week ago today. I was on the couch and didn't want to move, and then it kind of just fell into everything from there. And yeah, I do feel a little better now. I'm 90%. How does that sound, Kyle?
Yeah, you said 90. I'm like 82, I think. But you know what happens when I get sick? You know what I do? I buy a bunch of shit that I don't need.
You do.
So this is what I bought this time around. So, and I encourage hockey fans and Flames fans in general to do this. Always go to the sales section of NHL.com. Always.
Oh, what did you get? Okay.
I got a new water bottle because I don't drink enough water. And it's not like, the girl I was with for a long time always used to be like, oh, you have too much Flame stuff and it's all red. Yeah. It's cool when you get like off-color stuff too, right? So I got this fancy water bottle. It was $10. And I got this like weathered gray long sleeve shirt. It was another $10. Now, keep in mind, you keep adding $10 items together.
You get 140.
Yeah, they add up. I stopped at 100, shipping and all. So I feel all right, but it does add up quickly. But for me, either I'm sick, I'm depressed, or my team's going well. I don't feel depressed. The team's doing terribly, so clearly I was sick.
I used to buy shit like that when I would be drinking, which I don't drink a lot anymore, so saves me money.
Same.
Saves me money, man. Saves me money.
Exactly, right? So I guess we should, let's get as the Canadian of this pairing, let's get the big news out of the way in terms of the finality of the Olympics in the USA. Congratulations, by the way, Brad. Your country besting mine and winning gold.
Yeah, it was fun. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, you guys, I'm as big a Calgary Flames fan ever, and I love Calgary and I love Canada, but like, I'm from the U.S. Like, what do you do? You're still Team U.S., right? I grew up. I was actually having a conversation with my mom today and telling her how I remember exactly where I was sitting in the house when we won the '80 Olympics. I mean, it was that big of a deal to me.
Have you watched that documentary yet, by the way, on Netflix?
What's it? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep. I watched it actually last week. The day before the Olympics, before the Olympic men's tournament started, was the night it got released, and I watched it on Netflix. It's well done. It's well done.
That's fitting. Right. Yeah. Yeah. I started to watch it on a flight to Ottawa a couple weeks ago, and then I totally got sidetracked and get back to it. But it seemed to be pretty good.
But Cal, even if you're a Canadian, though, it's a good hockey story. Like it's about the, there's so much good we can rip on the bad of the hockey culture, but there's a lot of good in the hockey culture too. And it's a tight knit group, and in a group that looks out for each other. And you watch those documentaries, and if we watch that, or we watch the 72 Canadian, the Canada Cup, or they're all unbelievable stories of the sport we love. And today was another chapter. It was a hell of a hockey game.
Yeah, really back and forth. A ton of missed chances. I mean, it was funny seeing some of the tweets and people commenting about the goals that didn't happen that they themselves could have easily scored, and there were several. But the biggest, in context, I don't say this because we're on the losing side as Canadians, but John Cooper's comment and several others saying that a game of that caliber should not be decided 3-on-3. Like, there's a lot of truth in that, right?
You know what, Kyle? I almost tweeted this and I didn't because I thought someone talk shit or whatever. But
I
thought, you know what? If before that went to overtime, they let everybody on both teams and the coaches do a ballot box on if we want to just play 5-on-5 until we figure this out, or do 3-on-3, I think there would have been freaking it'd have been 42 votes saying let's play this 5-on-5. I believe that both because Americans wanted that too.
Oh, I think everybody did. I mean, I think maybe excuse me, maybe it's because Connor Hellebuck was in the game, but I was thinking back to the Jets win over the Blues in the playoffs last year. Game 7, late goal to tie it, lengthy overtime goes to second OT. Like, it's just so much more. And that's what John Cooper had said. Like, in the playoffs, that's the way it goes. It's 5-on-5 till somebody wins, and that's really what Olympic hockey deserves as well.
Well, I guess we should be thankful though, Kyle, that we didn't just go right to a shootout.
Oh, can you imagine? What a way to decide it.
That was the Olympics, though, right? I mean,
yeah.
When you think back, at least we got. I call 3-on-3 not real hockey.
That's what everybody else was saying too, right? So
I don't, but you know what? At least Like I will have to say this, and I'm not defending the way that it went to 3-on-3, but the fact of the matter is, both teams in 3-on-3 did get chances.
Well, it's all about possession, right? As soon as if you don't score on a chance that results in you losing possession, which most scoring chances, if you don't score, will result in you losing possession, either by by goalie freezing the puck or defenders corralling it. It's coming back at you and quick, right?
I got a question for you. You know what I learned this Olympics? Because when you watch the Olympics, you tend to watch teams too, not just Team Canada or Team USA. You tend to watch some other players, but a couple players for both Canada and USA, because I focus mostly on those two teams, really stood out to me in the Olympics and looked a lot more impressive than I had ever imagined that they really were. Did you feel that same about a few players?
I did at the Four Nations Cup, and therefore I watched those players more closely in the Olympics. But
well, and you know what? I can piggyback off that too. My U.S. example on that was Dylan Larkin in the Four Nations, right? I've always known Dylan Larkin to be a good player, but he was very impressive in the Four Nations. And I thought that he carried that through into the Olympics here too. I thought he was really, really good.
Yep, fast as hell too.
Another player that stood out to me too is Sanderson. That guy is there, man. That guy is gonna be. He's gonna be. I'm not saying he's better, and I don't know that he ever will be, but he's gonna be in the Cale Makar category. He is.
Well, my buddy Josh is a big Sens fan too, and he was saying how he's hopeful that Brady Tkachuk and Sanderson can carry that winning pedigree back to the Sens, because they still have an outside shot of the playoff spot if they go on a bit of a run, right? So,
what about and then you look at guys like, I mean, it just I knew Macklin Celebrini was a rising star, but if you'd have told me that he was going to be as impactful as he was in this Olympics, I would have said you're crazy.
Isn't it nuts?
He
is so damn good.
You know what? And I'm not okay. And we can do this on this show because I'm not ripping on it. I'm ripping on a Team Canada player, but I'm also ripping on an Edmonton Oilers player. Connor McDavid is. I mean, no one can argue that he's not the best skater in the league. But
that's for sure.
But you know what? Look at how many chances he gets because of his speed and his ability to skate. And look at how many he doesn't complete. Now, I mean, that sounds so hypocritical because I'm talking about the guy that got MVP of the tournament or whatever you want to call it. And, and a guy that's been to the Stanley Cup Finals 2 years in a row. And I'm not knocking that. But like, this guy had some chances again today and didn't bury them.
Yep. Yeah, and it was kind of the breakaway. He kind of ran out of room, but
didn't even get a shot off, really.
This is a tough one because back-to-back Stanley Cup final losses. Obviously, they won the Four Nations, which is still a big deal, but ultimately not as grand a stage as the Olympics. And then to win silver in the Olympics, I mean, the guy. I wouldn't quite say it's entirely deserving because no one player wins championships on their own, right? Although I'll get back to celebrating in a second to kind of touch on that. The guy is developing a bit of a reputation as I guess not being a winner at the highest level, which I don't think is entirely fair to him. But at the same time, given that he's in a leadership role in all those teams, it does get the wheels turning a bit, right? And we're not, you're not saying this as a Flames fan, and I'm not either. I mean,
no.
As a Canadian, I'm extremely lucky to have McDavid on our side. I'm very lucky to have seen him play live many, many times. Fantastic player, otherworldly.
And as a U.S. fan, I mean, I would love it. I'd give anything to have him on my team. But I'm also, I think what I'm getting at. I think you know what I'm getting at. And I can turn the page on that a little bit, because if you ask me, Brad, who's the best player in this in the National Hockey League? I'd say Nathan McKinnon, right? I would. I think he's a complete player. I mean, he's got an intensity level that I love. I love it. And then today, when he has a wide open net and he fails to bury it, I mean, I'm not knocking him for that. I mean, I think it's tough. It's a fast game. I think I've been at the hospital this week with my mom a lot, and not a lot of sleep, and when I set the alarm to wake up today, I said, "Geez," I said to myself, "How am I going to stay up for this game? Like, am I going to be able to stay awake?" And 2 minutes in, when I saw the speed, I was like, "Well, holy hell! There's no way I'm falling asleep. This is out of control." And I watched Nathan McKinnon going, and he has those chances, and it didn't go in. I can't help but think it's a miracle he didn't, with his talent and like how clutch I would consider him to be. Yeah. I consider him a big time clutch player.
Mm-hmm.
But then you flip the page back. USA had a couple look like guaranteed scores too, and it didn't go in either. And it's the game of hockey. I mean, it's the game.
100%. Actually, it was fun. The semifinal game on Friday with Canada, I got to watch it with one of McKinnon's cousins, a really good friend of mine. So that was and actually the week prior, when I was in Ottawa, I spent a few of my meetings with a cousin of Brad Marchand, Chris. So yeah, it's some maritime connections to those guys. But what I wanted to say, just back on these otherworldly players and how good Celebrini is. Are you aware? Did we ever discuss the points gap between him and the next closest Shark?
I've never looked.
So this is gonna make it even more fun. Then Macklin Celebrini has 81 points in 55 games. The next closest player on the team is Will Smith. Guess how many points he has? Celebrini has 81.
42.
39.
Oh, jeez. And I guessed super low.
Yeah, you went. Yeah, that was really, really close. If this is like the jar of jelly beans, you're trying to guess the amount. You would have won. You're damn close, but
you tricked me into guessing extremely low just based off the way the conversation is going. But like, it's crazy. I think he could just well be playing for USA.
Jeez.
And you could throw it back at me and say, "Hey, the Kachucks could be playing for you." It's that, you know what? And that's another thing in this hockey that's such a funny thing, is that more. I mean, an astonishing amount of players on Team USA are leaving to go play for their Canadian pro team tomorrow. It's astonishing.
Well, look at some of the.
I mean, the list, the Kachuk. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. I mean, there was a ton of them that are on Canadian teams. It's crazy.
Yeah, Sanderson, Kachuk, Connor, Hellebuck. Geez, who else? I feel like there's more than that.
There is. There is.
Yeah. Anyway,
what's another thing? I want to get your take on this too. There's a lot of players that when you play against them, and I'll name some players on both teams: Tom Wilson, Brad Marchand, Matthew Tkachuk,
Brady
Tkachuk, Sam Bennett. Like, there's certain guys, right, that you just when you're a fan of the opposing team, you just can't stand them. You just can't stand them. But you know what that differentiates hockey from any other sport in my mind? Did you see after the gold medal game, almost all of them were hugging each other, high-fiving each other. And I saw a look on Tom Wilson's face that was like, man, this guy is a human just like any of us and just wants to win.
Yep. And he played like a winner too.
And I'm going to say that about both the Tkachuks too. I think all of these guys are really good guys, and they know their role, right? They know their role, and they do it because they love the game, and it's made them successful. And you know what? Quite honestly, has got them where they were this morning. Yeah. But it is so fun and so amazing to see the camaraderie after. It was great, and you know there was no BS today. And don't get me wrong, the way the Four Nations started was freaking. It was amazing, right? It was super wow, like holy crap, I don't even know what to think. But today we didn't see that. But you know what we saw today? We saw truly the 40 best hockey players in the world. Or well, with the exception of a few here and there, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
We saw this game had everything. It had the Wilson hit on Larkin. It had the Boldy flip through the two guys and slide it by Bennington. It had Hellebuck reaching behind him with a paddle save. This game had everything, right?
Yeah. Though actually, that's a really good segue, Brad, because the one thing it didn't have that it should have, and it was well represented in the finale of the game, thankfully, throughout the tournament, was Johnny Gaudreau.
Yeah.
And I wanted to mention that specifically for a number of reasons, one of which, eventually we do have to get to some Flames talk. Of course, he's a huge part of Flames history, and I think as most of our listeners know, I have a close connection to the family. So seeing the way the U.S. players in that show camaraderie and how quickly – I liken it today to them bringing out the Gaudreau jersey almost to how, like, Sakic handed the cup to Bork, even though Sakic was the captain. Mm-hmm. They put the spotlight on Johnny Gaudreau so quickly. I was actually kind of astonished. I knew that jersey was going to make an appearance, but how quickly they had that out there, just as quickly as they had the American flag out.
Right away.
It was that was a really, really classy gesture, and to see his parents and his wife and children in the crowd. And
I'm going to be honest with you. One of the things that made me the happiest today was I thought both teams were very classy.
Yep. Yeah, and it's unfortunate in a sense because the aftermath. You see some of the bars being thrown back for the social media. And I kind of had to take a break from today because it's just so ridiculous. You're talking about a game with the slimmest margin of error when one single mistake or McKinnon 1,000 times does not miss that puck. If you want to look at it the other way, like it is what it is, right? But man, people get in some stupid shit.
Me and you talked about it prior to the show. Like this was a game. And it ended perfectly, Kyle. You can argue the back and forth winner every day. No, and I don't mean to sound like it's slamming in your face. Right? What I'm saying is it ended perfectly in that we had a goal that was not controversial. There was virtually no controversy through the game. The U.S. got a 5-on-3 against them, and Canada got a double major or a double minor against them. They kind of washed each other in a way. There was a couple missed calls both ways. And really, there wasn't a ton of controversy, and that makes me feel a lot.
I think the most controversial play, and I didn't hear a lot about it after a whole lot, which is good because it's done and over with. But the missed too many men call only because it was so flagrant, right? That was like the announcer's reaction. It's really funny, but that's also hockey. It happens all the time.
It happens in every game. Yeah. And the only thing that made me happy on that is that it didn't.
You're American.
No, because it could have went the other way too. But, and what I'm saying is, it didn't directly lead to a goal. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
No, you know what? Sure. You know what I mean? I mean, there was missed stuff both ways. But I will even say though, for the most part, I think most Canadians that are thinking as a hockey fan and even loving their country, when it gets deep down to it, and we can turn the page on this a week from now, we'll say it was a pretty well officiated game too.
Yeah, for the most part, for sure. So, because we actually went quite a while on that topic, further than I think either was expected to.
Didn't plan on that.
No, that's okay. We didn't plan this at all because we've both been so damn sick. I wanted to share. So yesterday, that's the Moncton Wildcats game. We're in a bit of a slump right now. Mind you, they're dealing with a lot of suspensions and injuries to some key players. We're playing the Charlottetown Islanders, and during, I think it was the second intermission, I was wearing a Flames jacket, of course, and an Islanders fan stopped me to commend me on the logo. And we got talking, and I actually mentioned podcasts, and I mentioned, well, I co-host Flames Unfiltered. He's like, oh my god, let's check it out. Now I feel like an idiot because I didn't get the guy's name, but hopefully he's listening. And if you are, I'm sure you remember the interaction. Please, tweet us, email us, do something. But anyway, before we walked away, he said, "Oh, I just hope we keep tanking. Just keep tanking." And it was just like we both kind of had that little smirk on our faces, talking because it's nobody wants to admit that's what you want, but after you've gotten to a certain point, and I think that's what this Olympic break has kind of done. It's like we already knew where we were, but now we've had a break, and it's been a really nice break from the losing and the waiting for trades and all that, innuendo around that. And now that we're coming back into it, it's like I just want to see young guys develop the rest of this year, get the best returns we can get, and just ride into the sunset and then enjoy the playoffs with whatever team we're going to bandwagon on, right?
I couldn't agree more. I have a few fears coming back though.
All right. Now we're getting the nitty gritty.
The only fears I honestly have is lineup placement. I'm just deathly afraid of what Huska's going to keep trotting out there.
But it's funny you say that because I alluded to you at the outset, right? Like before we went on today about all the memes and the jokes about going from watching Best on Best to the Ryan Huska coached Flames, right? So your fears are valid and plenty shared.
And I'm going to be honest though, I don't think that means any more wins because those guys aren't going to help us win hockey games either. So what I'm saying is though, but I really wish we could and we talked about this in the last show, albeit a week ago, and it seems like many moons. I mean,
is it okay? Hang on. Is it only a week ago? Are you sure?
We missed 1 week. We missed last Monday. That was the only release that we missed.
So it's been 2 weeks since the release, right?
Yeah, it'll be exactly 2 weeks on the. We missed one. We missed 1 week. But the thing is though, and we talked about it on the last show. I want Stromgren to get a 10-game run. I want Rory Cairns to get a 10-game run. I want to see who these guys are. We have to know who these guys are, and this is our opportunity to see who these guys are. And another thing we need to talk about, because it deals with roster placement, and then it's kind of maybe piggybacking off the last Olympics. Martin Pospisil didn't play in the bronze medal game.
Yeah, what's that all about?
What do you think it's about?
I don't know. I don't think he got hurt.
I don't know. Did you think he got hurt when he left the Winnipeg Jets game and practiced the next day?
All right,
and then no-showed for 6 months?
Yeah.
I don't know. It scares the crap out of me.
The thing is, up until the day he retires, even if it's at 41 years old, I'm not sure we're ever going to feel confident that he's healthy,
But you know what? And I was talking to another guy about this at the hockey game last night, and he says, but Brad, we said the same about Sidney Crosby.
When he got hit by Dave Steckel? A million years ago in the outdoor game? Yeah.
But he had multiple concussions, right? One after another when he started his career. And we said the same thing as we said about Martin Pospisil. Now, maybe Martin Pospisil is maybe on a higher volume and a different style of player. But we've likened it to Ferland. It scares the crap out of me. And then I see him in game 1 of the Olympics get popped in the head. And I'm like, oh, geez, here we go.
I should mention, to go back to my prior comment too, that the game was definitely missing Crosby today, simply because he's Sidney Crosby. It just would have been great to have him on the ice, right?
And what
that's probably his last Olympics, given his age. He's old like me. We're the same age. So,
did I ever tell you my Sidney Crosby story?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, I'm gonna tell it quick because this is the way the kind of episode we can do this on, right?
We do it on any episode, really, but I mean, yeah, this one, why not?
It's 2 minutes. I'm at the NHL award show. I think it's 2014. Prior to doing podcasting, I had a webpage called Inside Edge Hockey News, which we covered just basically the NHL and some other hockey outside of that. But I was credentialed. I was down on the red carpet at the Wynn Hotel, and I had a gal standing next to me from NBC Sports. Used to have a website, like it was piggybacked off NBC. It was like Puck something or Puck Master or something. I can't remember the name of it. But anyway, she was there reporting for them. And we were on the red carpet and players would walk by and certain ones would stop in certain places, and that's where you would just get an interview, right? So I'm standing there and Sidney Crosby is walking by, and right as Sidney gets right in front of me, the gal next to me scarily and sadly falls to the ground and has a seizure.
Oh my God.
There's two people standing there, me and Sidney Crosby. He looks right at me and he goes, I do not know what to do. I said, I don't either. We both knelt down. We held her held her as much as we kind of could to comfort her. And I'm not joking. I don't know if I blacked out or what, but the paramedics were there and literally it felt like seconds. It literally felt like seconds.
It probably was at that event, but yeah.
And they were there. Boom. They had her under control. They had her handled on the stretcher, standing there. Sidney Crosby standing there. She gets rolled away. He looks at me and goes, whoa. And I said, whoa. He shook my hand, said, thank you for helping. I said, thank you. I said, I don't know what we did, but at least we were there. He said, exactly. Told me to have a nice day and walked on. But it was just crazy to be thrown into that scary situation with him right there.
With Sidney Crosby, yeah.
But that's my quick Sidney Crosby. But a guy that, super respectful guy, and had a couple interactions with him since, but always super professional. And I always look back at a guy like Wayne Gretzky is never really done anything to tarnish his career. He was just straight up good all the way through. And I can name a handful of hockey players that I could say the same thing. But Sidney Crosby's another one that, boy, couldn't write it in a textbook any better for a magical career, right?
Well, depends on what kind of shape he's in when he gets back too, right?
I don't think he's playing the rest of the year. And who am I to speculate on that? But it didn't look good to me.
I don't know. The Penguins are in the midst of a playoff chase, the likes of which they haven't been in for a while. So it'll be interesting to see, to say the very least.
Yeah.
I also wanted to mention, I took a buddy of mine out for lunch the other day, the contractor. And he actually brought our show up. He's like, dude, he's a Leafs fan, unfortunately. My buddy Justin, he brought up our show. He's like, yeah, you guys sound really good. I'm like, oh, thanks. He's like, my wife was with me and I put it on and she's like, do you know who this is? And she's like, oh, it sounds really familiar. I'm not sure. He's like, it's Kyle. And she's like, oh my God, really? Anyway, so he just kind of ripping our show, which is really cool because I never really, pushed on him anyway. By the end of it, I was offering him a t-shirt. You can see we were kind of headed back and forth, but it was really cool. So sometimes we weave ourselves into people's lives, a little bit unexpectedly, right? So, because we don't just talk about Flame stuff. We talk about it a lot, but in a season like this, you can only bitch so much, right? Before you got to talk about something positive, right?
We talked about today's show. It was kind of fly by the seat of our pants, and those kind of turned out fun. And we knew we were talking about the Olympics, but we, with the Flames, it's just a handful of topics to talk about. And there'll be much more next week when we talk, about the Flames. And it's just kind of fun to dive into the league too. And I got a feeling down the stretch here, we'll do a little bit more of that too.
Oh, undoubtedly. Look what we have to put up with for the next few months, right?
Yeah. It'll be fun though if he does play the youth.
He's not going to have a choice if the trade deadline goes the way we want it to, right?
So we're what are we, 14 days away from trade deadline? Roughly like that. Roughly the 2 weeks. Are you still feeling the same way? You think Coleman gets moved and you think Kadri gets moved?
I'm looking right at Blake Coleman on my calendar. I think he absolutely gets moved. He's and you kind of touched on earlier, you talk about the Kachucks, Wilson, Bennett. I put Brendan Hagel in that conversation too. Those guys that can play all situations and are way more valuable come playoff time. Coleman's on that list. For sure. Maybe not as intense as the names I just mentioned, but he's definitely a very, very viable playoff chip like we've talked about. Kadri, I think, goes too.
I think Coleman gets moved for sure. My worry a little bit with Kadri getting moved is if you have to retain on Coleman, it makes the Kadri deal even more difficult. And then I don't know if it gets done. But if you can somehow move Coleman and not retain, then I think that opens the door for you because we have one retention spot left to be able to retain on Kadri and then get him moved too. And boy, would it make me smile if both those guys are gone. And I think we'll get a much heftier return for Coleman than we do Kadri. But boy, that would be a good way to end the year.
Well, you're also omitting a strong possibility, and the one I saw floated around, and maybe we talked about this, I can't remember, but it's been so damn long. But Patrick Laine coming back in terms of taking on a bad contract.
We didn't talk about that, but that is, yeah, I'd be fine with that. Would you?
Well, yeah, for the simple fact that it's happened for years. It happened with Oh, let's go through some names here. Chris Pronger, Pavel Datsuk, Johan Franzen, Carey Price. Now, Laine will still be an active player, so he could actually, be thrown on the power play and mentor some kids maybe. But where you only have one retention spot left, you're going to have to take on a bad contract or two in all likelihood to stay the course, so to speak.
Yep.
And I don't give a shit. I mean, I'm cool with it. Whatever. It's part of the process.
If it helps us get a better return, by all means, like we got to do what we can do here. You know what? And I heard some talk this week that Coleman's family is back down in Dallas.
Yes, yeah, I heard that too.
It's not coming back for the remainder of the season because they're thinking he'll get traded somewhere. Coleman sounds like he's open to that, accepted that, and is ready to do that.
Well, he was a regular participant in practice the other day. So, but now that he is seemingly potentially rumored to be moved on, the big telltale sign is going to be Thursday's game. If he's not dressed, is that at home, by the way? I can't remember.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta check because I have no idea now. It's been so long.
I believe we are at home. I would have had this already. Thursday we are in San Jose for a late start, 10 o'clock.
Oof, I'll be in bed for that one.
Central Standard Time start.
Saturday we're in LA.
Saturday,
I guess we're in Sunday, of course, we're in Anaheim.
Yep. So 3 on the road right away.
Oh, so go figure. We play the Stars at home on Tuesday, March 3rd. How funny is that, eh?
Oh boy.
Here's the disparity right here. Like, just listen to this real quick. The Stars 34-14-9, the Flames 23-27-6. Leading goal scorers, Jason Robertson of Dallas, 32 goals. Calgary, Matt Coronado, 14. Oh man.
Oof.
What a disparity. Wolf. Anyway, that's okay. It's all part of this process.
Oh, I got one thing to talk about. Two things quick. So Gridden gets recalled from the American Hockey League, which I don't know if you saw his AHL showcase and his talents during the skills competition, but wow.
Yeah, he's unreal.
Yeah. And then
he's unreal.
He gets recalled, but no Hunter Prstevich. And they said they don't have room for a recall there. And so he's going to be the odd man out playing in the American Hockey League. And Zane Parek's going to be up, which I know he can't go down. But in my mind, Hunter Prstevich is so much more advanced right now than Zane Parek. But I guess it's just the way it goes.
Well, it's a bit of a roster logjam, of course. And I know we're all understanding of that to a certain extent. But it really does necessitate, and we just talked about this, everybody's been fixated on the forwards, right? But after trading Anderson, it's like people aren't talking about the Ds we have to trade. And again, Joel Hanley, see you later. Bye. Done. You're out.
Would you be upset if they traded Mackenzie Weegar? Because there's been rumors of him to Ottawa.
No, I love Mackenzie Weegar.
I do too.
Okay, let me ask you this. You ever get worried when you look at X and you see somebody point out, like, oh, we'd love to trade Weegar. He's been terrible all year. It's like, dude, shut up. Not everybody knows that. Do you do that too?
Yeah, like there's been a lot of times I've said the same thing, and then I thought to myself, well, if the general manager of the other team aren't scouting this guy and they're just gonna trade him off what we've talked about in the previous years, that's a really crappy GM.
Yeah, but there are a lot of crappy GMs. There's a lot of GMs who are part of this old boys club who still have that old way of thinking. Oh, remember the whole Brian Burke thing? He's got truculence and veteran leadership and intangibles, and they can be terrible, but because they still have that reputation that they had 5 years ago, or that they never earned in the first place, guys back up the Brinks truck and you walk away laughing all the way to the bank, right?
We said the same thing about Anderson last year.
Yeah, and again, kudos to him for turning around the way they did, but I just wish we traded him somewhere else other than friggin' Vegas. But
you know what, though? He hasn't been worth a darn in Vegas.
No, and I'm okay with that.
Did you hear anything about him for Team Sweden this year?
I heard it was a game he didn't play in.
Exactly.
So, yeah. I don't know what the deal is with him. I'm also a big believer that even though, and I always go back to the Korea and Solani example in Colorado, you can be absolutely stacked to the gills. And I played on a team like that in grade 10, I think. We had so much talent. We were a horrible team. It doesn't always translate. And I really the Knights, I don't think they're poised for a super deep playoff run. And I could be dead wrong, but I just don't see it.
No, I don't either.
Wrong mix of guys. And losing a guy like Zach Whitecloud in that locker room, as much as I just shit on intangibles, it is important. And that's one of the reasons they talked about today. That actually a friend of mine, Elaine, had mentioned, like, having like Crosby, just having him on the bench would be a difference maker. He's calming, he's mature, he'd coach the guys in a sense,
You know what's funny about that? Remember at Four Nations when Matthew Tkachuk was on the bench? And most Canadians and Canadian media ripped the US for having him on the bench. And I didn't like it either because you needed that spot. You needed somebody in that spot, right?
Yeah.
So if I thought, well, if they do that with Crosby, like, I get it. Like, I agree with you. But it's like, well, shit. Like, you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't, right?
Yeah, well, you're giving a spot to somebody who can't actually play.
I know, so, right? but he holds such an integral part of the what happens on the bench too. It's like, oh god, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
Yeah, the other piece of this gets talked about quite a bit. I just have to mention it briefly because it is kind of funny. Just when you thought people couldn't hate Radko Gudas anymore, eh? Like, everybody hates that guy, and I get it. He's such a dick to play against, which means he's good at his job, but kind of a nothing play in a sense. But of course, it was him that injured Crosby. So,
oh, and you know what? The thing that sucks is we knew it was going to happen, man. There's a couple of them in this tournament. I mean, the Fiala thing was devastating too. I mean, when you think about that.
Yeah. Oh, that's terrible.
Gosh,
that's a terrible injury.
First of all, number one, where did they get that stretcher? Like the 1970s? The hell was a two-wheel stretcher like that?
Yeah, he's actually still on it. They haven't figured out how to get him out of it yet.
And then they put him on upside down?
Yeah. Well, doesn't it track though with the rest of how this Olympics was done? You got a 74% complete arena, for God's sakes.
Well, like, he gets hurt, right? And like all this medical personnel like runs out there, and they all just stood there and looked at him like, oh.
They looked at him like you and Crosby looked at the chick having a seizure.
Exactly. We didn't have a wheelbarrow.
At least you guys tried to help.
Yeah, at least we like had a little bit of empathy for her. I don't know.
Oh man, but you know what? McAvoy getting hurt in the Four Nations, Fiala with a devastating injury in the Olympics, and he's a very important part of the Kings.
Yeah.
So that's, and Crosby. I mean, to say nothing of that. I mean, I get it. Like, as well as I do, as much as we love watching our countries go to the Olympics and tournaments like that, World Cup, whatever, your superstar players playing in the playoffs means so much more as a fan when you watch 82 games plus the playoffs, ideally over 20 years, right?
Well, I love best on best, but it is something that if my team was good in hockey this year, like if the Flames were good, I'd have been like, I'd have been worried sick.
Yeah, well, don't have to worry about that this year. That's for damn sure.
No, we don't have to worry. Oh, the only thing bright spot for us is maybe it frees up another trade partner for us.
Well, and that's actually what I said earlier too about the Penguins to my friend Elaine and my buddy Chris, who was with me too. Because the Penguins are right in the thick of that playoff race, they're not just going to roll over and die. Because it's not just Crosby that's older, starting to age out, so to speak. There's Malkin, there's Letang, there's Erik Karlsson. Like, this is a team that wants to get as much as they can out of those pieces because they kind of hung on a little too long with the Flames 10 years ago, right? So if they can bring in a guy like, I don't know, maybe Nazem Kadri to push them into the playoffs, maybe Crosby comes back in the first round or something, they're going to look at doing that.
And you know what?
They're committed.
It's funny too is this Olympic thing and the injuries and stuff. I wanted Crosby to play today as an American, and I think you wanted the best Americans to play today, right? And you wanted us to be to the finals just like we wanted you to be to the finals, right?
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Right? Because today would have been no fun if we'd have beat Finland. I mean, it would have been fun, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't have the luster it does.
Well, it's got a lot, and I mean, the other thing, and the way that things are now, not having Russia involved for the time being.
And I hate that.
Yeah, I do too, but I mean, this larger, I'm not saying it's the right or wrong decision. I guess my only point is that, Russia is still a hockey superpower, and if it was a Canada-Russia or a US-Russia final, much like you said about the Miracle on Ice, it's still going to be a damn good game. Might not be quite on the level of a North American rivalry, but it's still huge. And not having that possibility either also makes it so you really need the Canada-USA game.
You do. Well, we're back to Flame stuff, man. We're back next week with a normal episode talking about a California road trip with a bunch of players that
So we're going to get carved up by a vengeful Macklin Celebrini who's going to try and drag the Sharks in the playoffs. A Ducks team, the goaltender Dostal stood outside the Olympics.
I like all three of those teams, and I know a lot of people have ripped on the Kings this year, but I don't.
An angry Drew Doughty, that's never good.
Yeah. No, I don't know. It's going to be a tough road ahead here for the Flames, and the schedule is jam packed too. I don't know if you've taken a look at what March all lays out as far as the schedule. It's a hefty one. It's jam packed, so it's going to be a busy month, and we'll have a lot to talk about, and we'll really get to see what happens as things heat up with this trade deadline now.
You know what my schedule's jam full of in a week's time? Megadeth.
Are they coming? Are you going to that?
I'm going to see them twice, it looks like.
Really?
Because they're coming to Moncton, and that's on the 4th. Me being an idiot, didn't look at my schedule. I booked a meeting in Halifax on the 4th with a huge client. So I'm like, okay, well, I've got to make that. I can't reschedule it. I'm like, oh, shit. That's a 3-hour drive away, and, the concert's in Moncton. So anyway, I'm going to drive down to Halifax on the 3rd, the Tuesday. Well, Megadeth is in Halifax today. I'm like, okay, well, I'll stay in a hotel anyway, like across the street from the venue. I'll go see them in Halifax. I'll drive home after a meeting this day. I'll go see them in Moncton.
Their bass, here's a funny fact for you. Their bass guitarist lived 4 houses away from my cousins growing up.
The current bassist?
Dave Elfson.
Oh, Dave Elfson. Yeah,
I don't know if he's the current. He's not the current.
No, there was some...
Through their major period of time, he was the...
Oh, he is always... Yeah, he's the only other constant in the band other than Dave Mustaine, but he got himself in some trouble and got himself fired. But that's cool. Yeah, because I forgot. Yeah, he's from your region. That's right. I forgot about that.
He's from really small town. He's from a small town in southern Minnesota.
Yes, and the song "Foreclosure of a Dream" off of Countdown to Extinction is lyrically about Ellison's family losing their farm.
Really?
Fun fact for you. Give it a listen. Anyway, way off the beaten path. This episode was supposed to be a little bit shorter. It has not been because clearly we have lots to catch up on.
Evidently, but now we can let him go, and hopefully we heal up even more.
I'm still, like I said, I'm in the 70s in terms of how good I'm feeling.
Well, your buddy said we sound good. Hopefully this isn't someone's first episode listening because there was a lot of coughing and a lot of hacking.
Well, it's going to be our Islander fans' first episode probably. Justin's going to listen because I told him to give him a shout out because I appreciate all the positive feedback.
Perfect.
So and the third thing I almost forgot is to send you the link for the Hockey Heroes tournament again this year coming up the first weekend of June. So I've already shared that on my Facebook page, on Twitter. I'll reshare it a few times. Some people have already started donating, which is extremely generous and awesome. All the proceeds go to the Heart and Stroke Foundation of New Brunswick. So far this year, we've got Mark Recchi coming. Matthew Barnaby's coming back again like he always does. Ali Frady. I'm not sure who else they're going to be left to add. But anyway, doing the charity hockey tournament thing again. Any support is greatly appreciated.
You'll see it at flamesunfiltered.com. You'll see it on all of our social medias. And we're going to talk about it on almost every episode coming up here. Let's get as many donations as we possibly can to help out a wonderful, wonderful cause and have Kyle have a really fun weekend also. So some important things. So you'll hear plenty about it on future episodes and on social media. Flames get going. Action. California Swing starts Thursday night in San Jose. Kyle and I will be back next Monday with a regular episode. Trade deadline getting really, really close. We'll be breaking down, and if any moves happen, hey, your place to come and listen is Flames Unfiltered.
Look forward to it as always. Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back, and fun Olympics. Maybe not the result that many of our listeners want, but hey. It was fun. It was really, really good. It was really, really good game. So, back at it again. We'll see you guys next week. And enjoy your rest of your week, Flames fans.
Take care, guys.
Thanks for listening to Flames Unfiltered with Brad Burud and Kyle Lewis, your source for unfiltered Calgary Flames hockey talk. Keep it locked on flamesunfiltered.ca. Subscribe where you get all your podcasts to never miss an episode. Flames hockey talk every week, presented by Inside Edge Hockey Media Group.